As you recall, when it comes to creating relationships between two tables, in my previous training videos I enforced all the relationships. Let me go ahead and select that relationship, right-click on it, and edit it. Remember how when you create it, when you drag from the primary key field to the foreign key field in another table, in this case manufacturers to computers, you get this window, it pops up. And then to enforce it, I checked, well, there it is, enforce referential integrity. What that means is that, in this example, that when I enforce, it requires that each record in the manufacturer's table have a corresponding record in the computer's table. In other words, whenever I create a new record, a computer, and I want to input a manufacturer's ID, I have to use what's over in here, this being the 1. I mean, no pun intended, but when you're number 1, you rule the relationship, right? If I want to go ahead and use a manufacturer ID, it already has to be manufactured or created over here. If it hasn't, I can't go ahead and make up my own because this is the one that's controlling the relationship, the 1, in a one-to-many. In a one-to-one relationship, it depends on which table you grabbed and dragged the primary key from, as you recall in the one-to-one relationship training video, because who you drag it from and extend that relationship to is going to be the initiator, the aggressor, the controller, the 1, okay? In any case, you can watch that training video. So that's what enforcing does. But if I don't enforce it, and I think I have one good example here that I could show you. Let me go ahead and cancel out. I've got my computers table and I have my notes table. And what I want to be able to do is keep track, let me drag this over here, of any computers that have any issues by typing in some notes. Now, not every computer is going to have an issue, so there are going to be some blank fields here. So when it comes to creating a relationship, let's go ahead and hook them up. Now, before I do, so you know what's going on, my computers table has a bunch of records in it. Let's go ahead and double click and open it up to verify. I've got like 24 records here. You can see 24 there. Let me go ahead and close out. How many do I have in my notes? Double click. I have none. Because remember, these are notes about those computers that are falling apart, what I need to do to upgrade them or fix them. So when I buy all new computers, I don't need to start typing in notes. Let me go ahead and close out. So if I want to go ahead and relate these two, drag from primary key to primary key, again, because it's going to be from primary key to primary key, which one's going to be the initiator? In other words, which one's going to rule the relationship? It's the one that I'm clicking and dragging from. So it means when I click and drag from the computers to the notes, this will be the ruling ones. So when it comes to creating an asset tag, I would create it in this table, and then all related records would be updated in this table. Unless I clicked and dragged from here, then I have to create new asset tag keys in this table, and all related ones would be updated in this table, whatever I created over here. In any case, I'm going to do it from computers to notes, click and drag. These asset tags have the same data type or type of data, even though they're not spelled exact. Well, they are spelled exactly, but this one has a space. So I'm trying to prove to you it doesn't matter if it has spacing, if it doesn't, if it's spelled the same, just as long as it has the same data type and data type value. So if it's a number data type, this field, when I create in the notes table, also has to have the matching data type of the asset tag in the computers. They're both numbers here, and they both have to have the same values. Well, this one doesn't yet because, again, I don't have any computers that have issues, so I'm not typing in any notes. So if I go ahead and try to enforce that and also allow updates and deletions and click create, it says you can't do that because the relationship must be on the same number of fields with the same data types. Well, it has the same data type, but the number of fields it doesn't, because this one has 24 records and this one has 0. Even when I input one record and I try to relate them, a one-to-one relationship, it's not going to have the same number of fields unless I go ahead and I put notes in for all 24 computers. So I have 24 records here and 24 records there. But again, that's not going to work for me, so this is the time where I won't enforce the referential integrity and create the relationship anyways, because not every computer is going to have a note tied to it. Let me click and drag and move this around, so it's not crisscrossing these relationships all over the place. Now, you could bring up the good point that I didn't have to create a separate table to add my notes. I could just go ahead and add the notes field in the computer's table here. If I did that, that would be called denormalization. And the definition of denormalizing is adding redundant data to tables to speed up database access or combining data into one table. In other words, you're not putting a field that may contain occasional blanks or empty data into a table of its own. That's normalization. You're breaking your tables down into the smallest, most meaningful parts. Now, some experts say it's better to normalize the field into its own table, but really it's not a set rule. Two more things I want to cover about the relationships window is that if you want to be able to have somebody else go over the relationships that you created, but they don't have access, or you're quickly running to a meeting there and you want to print it off, just come up here to the Design tab, go to the Tools group, and click on the Relationships report, and boom, there it is. And then just come up here and click on the Print button, and you're good to go. I'm going to go ahead and right-click and close out of this and not save it. And then the other thought is that anytime you create a relationship by clicking and dragging, it automatically saves it in Access. You don't have to click on the Save button up here. In fact, let me go back to my Relationships tools. There it is. Click on the Design tab. So again, once you create it, it's saved. However, if you go ahead and you start moving the layout around, it's not saved unless you actually click Save, because when I close out of here, it says, do you want to go ahead and save the changes to the layout? In which case I can go ahead and click Yes, and then when I go back to my database tools, to my relationships, that's where I had it when I saved it. Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel to get notified of the latest videos. And for great specials on my products, please see the description below this video.